Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if you're aware that in Sochi, Russia, the Valdai International Discussion Club session started. And that is a club, it's a conference where some experts, analysts, politicians get together and discuss economic, political, military, geostrategic situation on this planet. They try to find solutions. It's kind of a Davos, but a little bit different. You might think that what's been discussed over there could be of great importance for the adversaries, which in this case is Al Capone and its vassal states, which is United States and about 40 more countries. That's all. But no, I looked for this online and I was trying to find out how CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, important, let's say, media outlets covered it, and they didn't. And whatever they covered in such a skewed way that the population of the free world actually is, how should I put it, is misguided, misinformed. And that's the whole point. I have here 3 articles, 2 from the Russians and another one from Free World, I guess, where Putin in his speech made some claims, and one of these claims, the way I interpret it, is determining that this year is year 0 of the multipolar world that he wants to create, a new world, he calls it. You might think that this is very important and people might know what the hell that dictator is saying, but no, they don't. Try it and Google it or Yahoo it and see what the results will be. So let me start with Sputnik, which obviously is the way the Russians are interpreting the Valdai session. And I'm going to end up with, I think that's an American media outlet. So here it is. Sputnik, Putin tells Valdai Discussion Club goal is creation of new world. Well, isn't that like the guy in the so-called in the 20s, 30s, early 40s wanted? Well, some people make that point. So Putin addresses the plenary session of the 20th meeting of the Valdai International Discussion Club in Sochi. Serious changes happen in the world over the past 20 years. When the world order changes, time seems to shrink, Putin stated. Western prosperity has largely been achieved by robbing the entire planet and endless expansion, the president stressed. Putin said it should be obvious that the attempt by stronger countries to impose their interests on others is unacceptable, but this is not happening. Evidently, some people say, well, is that exactly what you want to do? Well, if that's exactly what Russia has to do, they are Johnny come lately. They are last in line, as Dio's song says. Why? Because the other guys are way ahead, or at least in the past 30 years, and not only. So, let's go to the next article here, coming again from Sputnik. Putin's Valdai speech. Multipolar future has arrived and Russia is here to stay. For him, I think, the way I see it, he sees this 2023 a turning point where the club, which is the opposition pole of the US's plantation, is formed. I said, I talked about this last year, I talked about this many times this year. There will be a time when Putin or Xi Jinping or together or the members of BRICS countries or some of them will come out and will say it straight to your face. This is the moment we create the next option, the second option to the club, to the plantation. And I think this is, I've never heard this said this frank. The multipolar world that Russian President Vladimir Putin has referred to over the past several years has finally taken shape, international observers told Sputnik. So Putin delivered a speech on October 5 at a plenary session of the 20th meeting of the Valdai International Discussion Club in Sochi, emphasizing the tectonic and irreversible shifts taking place in the global order. 16 years ago, at the 2007 Munich Security Conference, if you didn't watch that, go and watch it. I watched it. And people were laughing and smirking and looking at this guy as being like a how do you call it, Russian bear over there chained, dancing around. That's how they looked at it. Very revealing how the comedians were viewing this guy who was serious about it. Were looking at him with disdain and look at this clown right here. And well, things showed to be more serious than the clowns thought. So Putin in 2007 told Western leaders that the natural type of international system is multipolarity, clearly showing that Russia would oppose US unipolar dominance. The moment of truth has come, and US hegemony is fading in front of our eyes, while a new multipolar world is emerging, per Professor Joe Siracusa, political scientist and Dean of Global Futures, Curtin University. So, in many, many ways, the future that Mr. Putin is talking about has already arrived. He said, what he's kind of saying between the lines, it's already here. Now we have to see it. The world has changed. And the reason he thinks that the Americans, particularly in Washington, make these terrible mistakes is because they did not see that the world has changed around them already. The world, the future, is changing in front of them and they fail to see it. He thinks that might be the cause of the conflict. Well, I don't know if you remember or if you watched, it was one interview, Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister of the Russian Federation, he made this statement in one of his interviews. I can remember, maybe more than 5 years ago, maybe in about 2018, something like this. And he said that the US's power and hegemony failed, and they don't run the show. That's how he said. The West doesn't run the show anymore, but they don't want to accept it yet. I mean, that was 5 years ago at least. As far as I remember, you can still find it online. It was a YouTube video. Maybe it was 2018, 2017, something like that. And I think that's correct. This, because of their arrogance, they think that they are untouchable. So let me show you what the last article coming from Semaphore. Now, I don't know what Semaphore exactly is, but it's the only one that really covered it from something else besides the Russians and I saw some Australian Sky News. It was a guy who was just interpreting certain things. Semaphore. Putin says Russia is aiming to build a new world. Well, it's already in the process. It's not aiming in the future, it's there. Moscow is aiming to create a new world where Western-led hegemony, quote-unquote, would be rejected. And he continued to paint the invasion of Ukraine as a larger conflict with the West. Well, do you think it is? Who think it is, then should raise his or her hand. Well, is it a crime to maybe be wrong in assessment? No, then leave me the fuck alone, YouTube, right? So, and I'm quoting, we are in fact faced with the task of building a new world. Putin said in what the Moscow Times described as a grievance-filled speech at a political forum in Sochi. I don't know why these guys don't even mention it. Valdai. I think they don't want to make people, what is Valdai? Let me look into that. I covered today two articles, I think, or two videos I made on related to Valdai, and I covered this, but it was they never talked about Valdai. They mentioned the American press. They mentioned that the same as these guys. How do they use it? It was a political forum, couldn't find the name Valdai over there. I think one it was a Ukrainian media outlet. Nevertheless, I think the media, they mentioned it, but the free press, nah. So yes, I think this could be the moment when Putin feels confident enough, or maybe cornered enough by some people's assessment, where he comes and says, you know what, we started a new, we divided the world. It's you guys and us, and we're going to cooperate or not. We're probably going to start having distinct institutions that will not interact with one another. They will form different organizations. They already did on the, I guess, the foundation of BRICS. Yes, today I covered the creation of new missiles that Russia did, a new generation powered by nuclear power, some missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, something like that, that unfortunately the Americans could not even think about yet, about creating them. Lag behind. It's okay, we have our ideology here that we will be buried with, unfortunately, as Khrushchev said. We will bury you. Okay, I guess these guys bury themselves, or at least they bury us, because they're going to be safe over there where they are. I have no doubt about it. So my friends, keep in mind today, the 5th of October 2023, when Putin came out and said the new world order, the new world is here to be created, a multipolar, where the US hegemony is waning, going away. It's going to still have its plantation, Al Capone, definitely, its club, its organization. It's going to own part of Chicago, obviously, but the other side of Chicago will be owned by other gangsters, which is, let's call them Russia, China, the free world now, the new formation. We'll find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.